So you know that person that you're arguing with on the internet who is being really annoying and frustrating and they're just not listening and it's really getting to you? Have you considered that you're arguing with a child? Sometimes you're arguing with a literal child because children do exist on the internet, and I think people underestimate how often when someone says something to them that is maybe toxic or stupid, it's an actual child, like a teenager. They are out here and they're just learning and trying their best and also copying the adults that they see, by the way, not their fault. But sometimes you're arguing with someone who is technically age-wise an adult, but who you're actually arguing with is the 8-year-old version of that person that's trapped inside of them because they were emotionally stunted at that age from trauma and a lack of care. I'm Dr. Hilary Agro, by the way. I'm an anthropologist and community organizer who talks about collective liberation and actually trying to get out of these shitty messes that we're in collectively in a way that maybe tries something different from just yelling at each other and blaming each other and punishing each other for stuff that happened long before we were born. Follow me if that intrigues you and interests you and you might like a little more. They never had a chance to develop into a fully formed, autonomous, empathetic, thoughtful adult because they were too busy surviving the conditions around them. Even if their family conditions weren't that bad, maybe they had a really rough time in school. Maybe they grew up in a society that cut all the trees down and replaced it with malls. You know, just for example. Maybe when they were upset, their parents, who were working 3 jobs, didn't have time to comfort them, so they told them to stop crying and get over it. They just didn't have the support that they needed to actually emotionally mature, because children, they need a lot of care. When they're small, they need to do kind of shitty things sometimes, they need to experiment, they need to make mistakes, and they need to be supported through that. And a lot of people, because of our society, do not get that support, and therefore they mature in some ways. Physically, they don't really have much of a choice, but emotionally, if they're not supported, they are not getting that maturity that they need to move beyond that developmentally appropriate narcissistic stage in early childhood and into empathetic full adult. It's finally springtime and I can record outside again, and I am so excited about it. It is slippery as hell though, but you know, these feet. I got mountain goat feet. I know how to walk in the woods, even when it's like this. This is foreshadowing for when I eventually fall. Okay, so this person that you're arguing with, they're just being so obtuse, right? Like, it's so frustrating. I know this feeling, trust me. I'm speaking from experience. I have lived far too much of my life on the internet. But what I have learned through 3 anthropology degrees and much personal healing is that it's not enough for us to treat every adult that we're talking to as if, because they're an adult, they should know better. They don't. They just don't, my beloveds. This isn't working for us. Does it feel like it's working? Does it feel like the way that we talk to each other is productive and helping? Or is it just perpetuating cycles of exhausting aggression and violence and misery? Don't you want to try something different? Wouldn't it feel nice to try something different? But why is everybody so goddamn traumatized? We gotta figure this out, right? Like, this is the situation we're in. People are really reactive. People are just super on edge. People don't know how to talk to each other. Relationships are falling apart. You know that relationships are difficult. Don't even lie. You know it. You know it in your heart, and it shouldn't be like this. It doesn't have to be like this. But why is it like this? Well, my friend, the question to always ask is, who benefits from the social situation being like this? Who is making money off us all being mad at each other all the time? Well, you will not be surprised to hear that it's the capitalists. It's the big guys at the top who are sucking our labor and our surplus value out of us. They're taking our time and energy, our youth, our well-being, and turning it into capital so that they could put yachts on yachts on yachts to run away from their own misery. This is a system that works for nobody. Check out my video on capitalism to actually know the nitty-gritty details of how this works. It benefits them when we're miserable. Whoa, oh, I called it. It benefits them when we're miserable because we buy shit, right? People who are happy and content to just kind of hang out and make art and make food and play with the children and sing and have a nice time together and tend to gardens. Those are not the people who are spending all of their time and money buying shit to try to make them feel better, because they know that they can feel better just from existing, from being out here, from feeling the sun on your face, from looking at the trees, from looking at a campfire, the water, to actually just breathe in and out and exist and listen to the birds. This is what it means to be human. This is what used to be enough for us. But it's not enough when you are constantly running from the inside of your own mind that has been architected as a child to fear these things, to not understand these things, and to be constantly worried about where your place is in the social hierarchy, or whether you're bothering the people around you with your presence, or whether or not your car has enough gas, or whether or not your teacher's gonna know that you cheated, or whether or not your partner is gonna leave you when they find out the person that you really are inside, because you don't think that you're a good person, because it didn't seem like your parents cared for you very much when you were little, so maybe you are uniquely a shitty person and your parents just knew that, and it's not because they themselves were also traumatized by the system, it's because of you. First of all, let go of all that if you can, at least for a second while we're here chatting. It's none of that. But when you're worried about all that stuff, oh baby, are you gonna buy stuff to run away from those fears? You're gonna buy kitchen utensils that'll maybe make things a little bit faster to cook so that you can save a tiny little bit more time, so that you could use that time to consume more stuff and watch more stuff, because when you're watching something, you don't have to be dealing with your own life. And so you can put it all on pause for a second. When you're scared and miserable and angry and really worried about how other people perceive you, because everybody seems to be hostile unless you fit into a certain specific box, then you're going to be trying to make more money so you can buy a nicer car, so that you can impress women or your parents. You'll buy the clothes that represent that aesthetic that you saw on TikTok, where the person seems to just exude confidence, and you figure, well, if I wear that, then I'll be confident too, and then I'll feel like I belong. We are marks for the capitalists when we're miserable. So of course they want to keep us miserable. Of course they want to keep us mad at each other and yelling at each other and blaming each other in the working class, so that we don't look around and realize, oh no, the person who cut me off in traffic is not actually the source of my misery. It's the people at the top who are controlling this entire system. And if I may argue, it's not even really their fault, because they are trapped in the system too. They just don't realize it. They think they've won, but they've sacrificed their own humanity for all of this, because it's all that they know. They're on autopilot. They're so disconnected from themselves. It's the system itself that is the problem, and that's where we need to intervene. I always feel this little jolt of kind of anxiety before I get into some of the more challenging stuff, but I gotta say it. I gotta speak my fucking anthropological truth that was so hard won through so many years of degrees and volunteering and traveling and becoming a parent. I have some things to share because I don't see it talked about enough, and I think it's about goddamn time that we started talking about the more difficult stuff instead of going in circles blaming Democrats and Republicans and yada yada yada. The Democrats and Republicans, they're all deeply entrenched in this system. Let's be real. Electoral politics is not going to save us, and nobody is a hero. We are going to save us. So what we need to start doing is, number one, healing ourselves, healing our own inner child, so that we are not contributing to this perpetual system of dehumanizing each other. When you feel secure in yourself and know who you are and know that you are a good person because you're a human being and you deserve dignity and care and you are trying your best, the closer you get to having that true compassion for yourself, then you can have it for others. And then you can start to see the little children inside people that are lashing out, instead of being like, wow, that adult is a really bad person. The bad person, good person, I'm sorry, you're trapped in a Christian patriarchal view of the world that just, it leads us nowhere good. Have you seen how many prisons the US has built and the conditions under which the average US citizen is living right now? Does it seem like the prisons are helping? Does it seem like punishing people for doing bad things is fucking helping anything? Come on, let's be real here. Healing yourself is not easy, and it's a long process. We have so much generational trauma that we are all collectively working through, and it's not easy. It's hard work. It's really, really rewarding. The other side of actually sitting with your feelings when it's really difficult and letting them process through and out of you, you achieve a level of general contentment and happiness that is unimaginable beforehand. It's hard to even picture what it's like to live in a body that's genuinely regulated and secure. So it's worth it. It's really hard. And I want to acknowledge this because I think it's important for us to have compassion for people who kind of just aren't fucking doing the work. Do I wish that everybody was doing this work? I sure do. Of course I do. It would make my life a lot easier if everybody around me was doing deep healing work. It would make your life easier too. But it's really hard. Like it's not hard when you're supported. If you are in an environment like a song circle or a festival or therapy with a good therapist, or just even hanging out with your friends on a hike and telling them about your vulnerabilities and your pain and struggle, you are supported, and therefore the work isn't that difficult. It's tolerable, it feels good, but generally a lot of people don't have access to that stuff. So actually having compassion for why people just aren't doing that is definitely step one. Compassion is a thing that requires a lot of practice, and healing is a lot of work, but we gotta start somewhere. Also, plant medicines are here to help you, by the way. If you are interested in psychedelics for personal healing, I do offer psychedelic journey curation sessions. In my capacity as an anthropologist who has studied this stuff for a long time, I work with clients to help set up their psychedelic healing journeys, so check out the link in the thingy if you want to work with me on that. I studied the underground use of psychedelics and community organizing and activism against the war on drugs for my master's and my PhD. And the main finding that came out of my research is that organizers, they're working really hard. Activists, just regular people, people who are building the new world that we want to see, who may not even consider themselves activists, but maybe they started a men's group in their community. Maybe they're running song circles. Maybe they are coordinating GoFundMes for a needy family. All of these people are incredibly burnt out, and when the work is organizational, the number one thing that gets in the way is people's unhealed trauma bumping up against each other. It's hard to work together when we are vulnerable and scared and hurt and traumatized and see danger in the world all around us and take other people's words in the most negative possible interpretation. That's a really big thing that traumatized people do, is whatever someone says to them, their brain filters it through what's the most negative possible way I could interpret this, and they believe that. Practicing doing the opposite is a way to get out of that, but it takes lots of practice. So this is why, even though I was basically for my PhD studying what are we gonna do about this massive clusterfuck of a social situation that we have here, you know, the climate crisis, the economic crisis, ooh, there's squirrels, all of the problems that we're facing, what actually works when we do activism, I came out of it with the finding that the main thing that's stopping people from being more effective activists, stopping people from divesting from these systems of capitalism and colonialism that we're all trapped in, is the fact that we are so hurt still. Hurt people hurt people, but healed people heal people. So I would love us to try, just as a little experiment. Oh, this can be the video's challenge. It's challenge time. Challenge time. It's challenge time. It's challenge time in the woods. So in all my videos, I give a little practical challenge. This is somatic pedagogy, if you want to get fancy with it. It's essentially, I'm trying to teach, right? I quit academia to teach for free because I didn't believe in the gatekeeping system of academia, and also there's no jobs, let's be real. But the way that people actually learn is not just through sitting and listening to me yammer, as much as I love that you do that, and I love that people support me on Patreon to do this. By the way, become a Patreon supporter if you like my videos and want to facilitate me continuing to do them, because it's rough out here and I have 2 kids to feed. But the thing is that people learn best through doing, right? Through actually experimenting and practicing. So I give you guys a little challenge, and today's challenge is the next time that someone does something that makes you mad, I want you to try to close your eyes and just picture whatever they said or did. Picture a 5-year-old doing it or saying it. And then observe your own responses. How does that change how you're viewing the situation? If it was a 5-year-old who did or said that, and be generous with the interpretation. How would you treat that 5-year-old who said or did that thing? Would you respond in the same way that you wanted to respond to the adult who said it? What would you want to say to them? How would you want to guide them towards treating you better? Or maybe you just ignore it and don't say anything at all. Just observe your own instincts towards how you would interact with a child who did that same thing, and just see how that feels. See what information it gives you, and then come back and tell me about it, because I love hearing about these things. Practicing compassion for your fellow human beings and seeing them all as people who are just doing their best, even the ones who are doing harm are kind of doing the best that they can in a situation that they did not create and that they grew up in. Practicing that compassion, again, your brain's gonna fight it. You're already fighting it. You're already fighting it in my comments. You're already saying, well, yeah, but not the serial killers and the, yeah. I know. Practicing compassion is super hard. Do it anyway. Just try, because it's the most radical thing you can do. It's the thing that they want you to do the least. Don't start with practicing compassion for serial killers. That's pretty high level, like you're a Buddhist Lama kind of shit. I don't think that you are incapable of it, but you don't learn to drink by downing a 40 of vodka. You have a couple sips of wine first. At least that's how it's supposed to be. So try practicing compassion for your neighbor that you're frustrated with, or someone in your class, or maybe a liberal politician that you don't think is inherently evil, but they're very frustrating. Try it with someone in your actual life. Maybe somebody who is rude to you at the grocery store. There's enough people around who are being the way that they are under these conditions that you should be able to find somebody that you're irritated with to try to practice compassion for. Or you could even start by practicing it on yourself. And as you're doing it, remember that it's exactly what they don't want you to do, which is why it's so radical. And by they, I mean the spiritual forces that have a hold of everybody in this society, but especially the people who are causing the most harm. Those forces really want us to stay mad at each other. They do not want us to practice compassion. They do not want us to heal, because the more unhealed we are, the more we keep buying shit and throwing each other in prison. So the most radical thing that you can do is to break out of that cycle. And you can do it. I know you can, because you're a human and you have strength in you. You're fucking cool. Look at you sitting there, or driving, or wait, no, you're not driving. Don't watch this while you're driving. Sitting or standing or whatever you're doing, listening to this. You are a person who has tried so hard in your life, and I see you, and I believe that you can do this. Whoa. Nailing it out here. I'm Dr. Hilary Agro. Follow me for more. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to record another video about more specific ways that you can seek out healing that I think will be out in another couple weeks. But I'm going to record it right now because the woods, I'm outside. Please let me know if it's been okay that I'm walking and talking like this. I know it means the camera's kind of moving around a lot, but yeah, if that's okay, let me know, because it's just really nice to be able to move while I'm talking. So follow me to see that next video and all of the other stuff I'm going to be putting out into the world. And yeah, thank you. Love yourself. Love everybody else around you. Practice that whenever you can. We're all in this together. Stay safe and support the Patreon. I know it looks like maybe I don't need it because I've got this kind of fancy coat on, but it cost me $70 at a thrift store. And it's probably the most expensive thing that I own that I didn't buy 10 years ago when I worked for a retail store. So I do appreciate and need the support. Thank you.